This lady is laughing after cops caught her chopping up her Tinder date and putting him into this suitcase.
उसके बारे में मेरे पास नहीं थी तब, फेंक दी थी हमने, शाम को गई थी मैं, दोपहर में फेंक दी थी। आपने दुष्यंत को नहीं किया? नहीं किया। आजकल कैमरा देख के बस ये मन होता है कि उसे फोड़ दूँ। डिफाइन कीजिए, मैं उन्हें ब्लैकमेल नहीं करती थी।
On May 2nd, 2018, when Dushyant left his home early in the morning, he was looking forward to having a great time with his Tinder date, Priya. But he had made one mistake. He had lied about his identity and marital status to her. What started as a fun date ended up being a nightmare for Dushyant when he arrived at his destination. What lay ahead of him was hours of torment and eventually a tragic death that shook the entire nation. So what happened on that fateful day? What was the real identity of Dushyant's date? Welcome to TrapDoor Crime. Let's take a look at the case of the Tinder murderer and dive deep into the inhuman and untimely demise of Dushyant Sharma. Dushyant Sharma lived in Jaipur with his parents and wife. He posed as a rich businessman on Tinder and hoped to have a good time with the women he found through the app. He matched with a woman named Priya in February of 2018 and was elated to find a gorgeous date with multiple interests in common. Little did he know that he was walking towards his tragic ending. He left his house on May 2nd, 2018, and his family members thought he was out living just another day in his life. But he didn't return home at night. They tried contacting him for some time, but his phone was switched off. And then the family members received a call that told them something wasn't right. Dushyant was on the call, but he sounded terrified. He asked to speak with his father, Rameshwar Prasad Sharma, and when he said the next words, his father knew that his son was in trouble. Someone snatched the phone away from Dushyant and spoke to Rameshwar. It was a woman. She started to cuss at him and threatened him to send the money as soon as possible if he wanted his son alive. Rameshwar didn't have access to such a big amount right at that moment. He asked for some time, at least until 4 p.m. But the woman wasn't satisfied with his response. She wanted a deposit right away. She continued to cuss at the old man as he pleaded for his son's life. Rameshwar didn't have any option but to break his fixed deposit and send 300,000 Indian rupees to his son's account. After that, he tried calling Dushyant's phone, but it was switched off, and he never heard from her again. Rameshwar went to the police to file a complaint. They collected all the information from him about his son and launched a search. They came up with nothing. There were no leads, and no one knew where the call came from. Dushyant's phone was switched off, so it wasn't traceable. After searching for 2 days, on May 4th, 2018, police found Dushyant's body, chopped up and stuffed in a suitcase haphazardly and dumped in a village outside Jaipur. The condition of his body proved that he had been through torture before his life had been snuffed out. As police began the investigation, they soon found the main perpetrators behind this heinous act. They were 20-year-old Laksha Walia, 27-year-old Priya Seth, and 20-year-old Dushyant Kamra. And when these three spoke about that fateful day, they horrified an entire nation. Their chilling accounts of hours of torturing Dushyant made everyone question, are these three really in their right minds? So why did Priya choose this path? Why did she take the life of a man she didn't even know properly? When asked, Priya said she didn't know Dushyant's real name. She was just looking for a target, and she found the perfect one on Tinder. Dushyant had given her a fake name and identity and told her that he came from an affluent family, and Priya pursued him immediately.
मैं दुष्यंत के साथ में रह रही थी, उसके ऊपर कर्जा था तकरीबन 21 लाख का, उसे कोई चाहिए था ऐसा बंदा जिससे पैसे आ सके, तो हमने मिलकर प्लान बनाया था कि किसी को किडनैप करके फिरौती मांग के उसका मर्डर कर देंगे.
During the interview, Priya didn't even hesitate to mention that their original plan included getting rid of the person. It proved that the plan was well thought out, and she and her partners had no remorse. But they realized they had the wrong person after they abducted him. After Dushyant's father deposited the money into his son's account, Priya went to the nearest ATM and withdrew some money. Priya had seized Dushyant's debit card and forced him to share the PIN. After the father deposited 3 lakh, they used the card to withdraw 20,000 rupees. When asked why they killed Dushyant, even after his father had sent a significant amount, Priya gave a cold and nonchalant explanation. When asked how they carried out their plan, Priya gave a chilling and disturbing account of the incidents that took place that day. They attacked the poor man first, hoping it would be enough to take his life. When their plan didn't work, they took a slightly different approach. However, her explanation didn't match at this point. During an earlier investigation, Priya told the officer that she had possession of that knife because she wanted to use that to take the life of her ex-boyfriend. When asked about it, she became angry. At this point, she admitted that she'd initially fantasized about killing her ex-boyfriend. She also mentioned the desire for self-harm, but at this point, her statement didn't make much sense. She claimed that she didn't knife Dushyant and that Dushyant was the only one who did it. When Dushyant was asked how they did it, he gave a similar statement. Dushyant met Priya on Tinder and clicked with her immediately. After speaking for hours, they met right on the next day. Dushyant had a YouTube channel, and he had some free time in hand, which he used for building a strong relationship with Priya. Upon further questioning, Dushyant mentioned that Priya had also lied to him about her personal life. He learned the truth after they shifted together, but it was too late for him to leave the relationship. He was emotionally involved, and Priya took advantage of it. He also claimed that Priya was the sole mastermind behind Dushyant's murder, and she hadn't shared this plan with him before the abduction. उस टाइम पे मेरे को कुछ नहीं पता था, एंड टाइम पे से मेरे को प्लानिंग करके बताया, लक्ष्य ने मेरे साथ इस चीज को एग्री किया, चलो कर लेते हैं. They had never imagined that Priya would push them to do something like this. Dushyant thought they would keep Dushyant captive for a day or two and would release him after they received the money. He also claimed that it was Priya who took Dushyant's life. जो भी बयान के अंदर मैंने लिखा बोला है आपने, at the end मैम उसने उसका Dushyant repeatedly mentioned that it was all Priya's doing. सारी प्लानिंग इनकी थी, जो पहले इन्होंने वार किया है चाकू से वो भी इन्होंने की, लास्ट तक भी इन्होंने ही इसी गन पे हूँ, इसी गन पे खड़ा रहा. When the third perpetrator, Lakshya, was asked about the true mastermind of the plan, he claimed that both were involved in it. But he said that taking Dushyant's life was entirely Priya's plan. But she changed her plan later. According to investigations, Priya used to find wealthy men through dating apps and blackmail them for huge sums of money. In fact, according to reports, she had blackmailed as many as 1,000 men in 8 years. Apart from this, she was also involved in other criminal activities like ATM looting, extortion, and case threats. She was also involved in illicit street work. Police had arrested her multiple times, but she managed to escape because of her gender. But what was Priya's true identity? What did she do for a living? When asked, the profession she mentioned wasn't really noble. Priya ran the website but never had any girls to provide the service. In fact, she was the one who would meet the clients to con them.
कॉल मंगाई, लड़की मंगाई, तो उसके पास मैं जाती थी, पैसे लेती थी और उसको बोलती थी कि ड्राइवर को पैसे लेकर आ रही हूँ और मैं वहाँ से पैसे लेकर निकल जाती थी. बस यही करती थी.
And she admitted that no one had ever lodged a complaint against her to the police. She was so remorseless that right after taking Dushyant's life, she went to a 5-star hotel to con her next target. When she was asked if she went for her next target when she already had a dead body in her possession, she retorted,
उसके बारे में मेरे पास नहीं थी तब. फेंक दी थी हमने. शाम को गई थी मैं. दोपहर में फेंक दी थी.
When she was asked if she went to extort the other man right after this incident, she became even angrier at the interviewer and said that it was not extortion.
वो लोग कॉल गर्ल्स बुलाते हैं, उसके पैसे देते हैं. कैसे एक्सटॉर्शन कैसे कह सकते हैं आप इसको?
Then she went on a full-fledged rant, speaking ill of men who hired these services.
वो अपनी बीवियों को घर पे छोड़कर हमसे, मैं गंदा वर्ड यूज नहीं कर सकती, लेकिन हमसे कॉल गर्ल्स लेने आते थे, तो हम उनसे पैसे ले लेते थे, बस उनको देते नहीं थे. तो आई थिंक ऐसे लोगों के साथ बड़ा अच्छा करते थे. हम थोड़ा समाज सेवा का काम कर रही थी. मैं तो रुक गया मेरा काम.
Investigating Officer Jyoti was handling the case, and she mentioned that in early 2018, Priya had threatened her ex-boyfriend with a fake assault case for money, but he complained to the police. They arrested her, but she was granted bail. The complaint had come in January 2018 from a man named Gujraj Singh.
और अब वो कह रही है कि या तो तुम मुझे 10 लाख रुपए दो या फिर मैं तुम्हारे ऊपर केस करवाऊंगी.
She claimed that she was pregnant with Gujraj's child and she would dump the baby and its responsibility on him. She also threatened to harm Gujraj's family members. Gujraj recorded their calls and submitted them to police as proof.
तो उसमें कह रही है कि मैं तेरी बहन के घर पे आके उसके मुंह पे तेजाब फेंक दूंगी, उसकी फोटो एस्कोर्ट साइट पे करूंगा, तुझे मार दूंगी, तेरे परिवार को ये कर दूंगी, वो कर दूंगी. इस टाइप से उसने काफी उसको धमकाया है.
Based on the evidence Gujraj presented, police arrested Priya on March 8, 2018. Priya admitted that she was guilty of all charges.
स्वीकार किया है कि मैंने ऐसा किया और पैसे भी हमने बरामद किए. 4,14,000 रुपए से बरामद किए.
However, after a week, on March 12, 2018, Priya was bailed out of this case. Officer Jyoti also had to present multiple pieces of evidence in this case to secure custody for this woman. Despite her past criminal records, the judge was biased because of her gender, which is not an uncommon case in India.
ये किसी को कन्विंस करना आसान नहीं होता है कि भाई लड़की का हर कोई मान लेगा कि उसके साथ हुआ है या उसमें हमें चालान पेश करने में बहुत आसानी रहती है.
However, she mentioned that it's equally difficult to prove that a woman is threatening or blackmailing a man if a man complains the same. Males are considered the stronger and more dominant gender, whereas women are more commonly oppressed in the Indian subcontinent, making it very difficult to file a blackmailing, domestic violence, or assault case on behalf of a man.
इसके लिए आती है. मैं पीसी रिमांड पे गई हूँ. पीसी रिमांड लेने के लिए उसके गई हूँ कोर्ट में, तो भी मुझे काफी टाइम जज साहब को ये बताने में लगा कि इसमें ये एविडेंस आए हैं, इसके आधार पर मैंने इसको गिरफ्तार किया है.
Officer Jyoti believed that rape laws of the country were being misused by women like Priya. They lived with their partners consensually, and when the men did or didn't do something they wanted, they would threaten to file a rape case against them, or actually file one. She said that women who filed false rape cases should be punished. However, the laws were more in favor of women right now, and she hoped it would be rectified soon. The perpetrators received the fate they deserved. But Dushyant's family was left with a hole in their heart. They had lost their precious son, who would now never return. Rameshwar hoped that Priya and her accomplices would never get bail because he feared that they would ruin more lives.
मेरा बेटा तो चला गया, लेकिन अगर वो बाहर आ गई, कोर्ट से बाहर आ गए, वो जमानत हो गई किसी भी तरह से, वो किसी और के साथ भी यही करेंगे.
He asked the media to highlight the case and bring it under attention so that the perpetrators would receive the death penalty. After their arrest, all 3 perpetrators, Priya, Dushyant, and Lakshya, were sent to prison in 2018, where they awaited their trials with charges of homicide, extortion, and abduction. In November 2023, they were given life imprisonment for this heinous crime. Thanks for watching TrapDoor Crime. Please leave a like and subscribe.